All right, guys, welcome back to the shows. I'm just answering a question for KR. He asked me something earlier on regarding we have to close above 19,700, something like this, and is it bullish based on a chart that I sent him? No. So when you start looking at the inflow of coins coming in, what's happening is a lot of people are panicking, right? For multiple reasons. I'm not even going to go into this because it's going to take us hours to talk about this, right? But multiple reasons people are panicking and they're trying to sell their cryptocurrency, and many others are buying as much as possible. Now, on-chain buying is absolutely brilliant, right? It's always bullish. If you can buy on-chain, it's 100% bullish, right? But obviously what the whales are doing is they're buying like very small amounts on the exchanges to trigger a hype, and they're buying the bigger amounts when it dips, basically. So I'm going to expect a little bit more volatility. I wouldn't be surprised if we dump a little bit from where we are now. I think currently we're sitting at $20,115, as you can see on the chart, marked in green on the side panel. Now, I'm driving, so I'm not going to touch anything, but I've got this set up on the monthly to kind of show you a few bits and bobs, right? I wanted to show you something that is quite fascinating. So over a larger time frame, if you look carefully, what you'll notice is our trend was intact, right? So this is our monthly trend, right? So our monthly trend is still going up, right? So technically you can see from all the way from 2019, where I've marked it with the arrow, to where we are now, and the arrow has other significance, and I'll explain that in a bit. But what you can see is the trend has been intact. In fact, we've just come to test the trend. So on the larger time frame, we can see that the cycle markets is looking very strong, right? So yes, we've come down, so what, right? Market's correct, and we've just come to correct at a particular level. Now, the month of October is important because currently the candle we're in is the month of September candle. And if I zoom in a little bit, what I'll do, I'll stop the car for a bit and I'll show you something, right? So when you zoom into this particular candle, you end up seeing how the month of September is the most undecided candle on a monthly time frame. Very, very undecided, right? I mean, I haven't seen anything like this on monthly candles ever, or maybe one, I don't know. It's just weird, right? I haven't seen anything like it, right, before anyway. So because the thing is with crypto, the data we've got, remember Bitcoin has the longest amount of data. So let me just show you something. So I've just parked up. I want to show you, I'm going to zoom into this and I'll show you this particular candle, right? So if you look at this particular candle, and I'll take the drawings off for a second, hide the drawings, boom, right? What you're going to see is this particular candle is the most undecided candle ever. However, there is a significant important thing going on here as well. Now, it's undecided, it collapsed, it went down, right? So we did see it come all the way down to this particular level, which is fine. I'm not worried about this. What I'm really looking forward to is this particular zone here, this baseline here. So what we see is we've got this area, and I'll bring the drawings back, give me a second. Let me bring the drawings back so you'll understand what I'm talking about. So if I bring the drawings back, what you see is this white line here, right? So this was our threshold where we don't want to fall below. Of course, we went down. It's fine. I'm not concerned about this, right? But I see a convergence, right? So what I'm seeing is when I'm zooming into this, and I'm going like this, sorry, zooming out, I'm seeing that the previous, so this is the previous candle, right? This particular candle here. So you see the previous 2018 or 2017 top, this top here, right? This top we had here, was this line, and this is where we were hoping to hold it as a support. So the previous all-time high peak should be a support. Of course, on the shorter time frames, we did find many resistance. We even went down and tested the $17,500 level, probably even lower. But we have tested those, right? Which is okay. It's not a problem. If you look carefully at that particular area, you can see that the 17.5 where we were expecting, well, it's pretty much around this, where is it? Let me show you this. So this is quite fascinating. If you look carefully at the top of this, so it's about 17,000, 16,864, but that's the 50-month moving average. Of course, I can't go back in time and show you a longer data because we don't have that. But I'm not concerned too much about those because, again, 50-month, maybe in another decade, we'll have more data to work with this. But what I want to show you is this particular blue area where the blue line is, right? How we fell below this in this particular direction, right? It's fascinating because the same thing happened here in 2019, and this is when I've mentioned to everybody that our bull run actually started. So this was the area where the bull run started. You can see I've actually marked it with a square just to kind of show you. So based on the trend, you can see how, you know, it's come in. This was the start. The first one was the start. So first arrow on your left was the start, this arrow here, and then the second arrow here is where we are currently. Now, if we continue where we are right now, it doesn't matter if we're green or if we're red. It absolutely doesn't matter. The month of October, if we open right on a green candle, so even if we're down here somewhere just slightly below here, it doesn't matter. Even, you know, even if we're here, it doesn't matter. As long as we open a green candle, things are about to be ballistic, right? Things are about to be good. Why? Because if you look carefully, after all the reds that we've had, right, after all of this downtrend we had, we started doing these greens. And if we get a second green here, or even a single green here, I think that signifies that the market wants to start moving up, right? So this is what I'm seeing. And I'm obviously really, really bullish about this. However, I do see some other data, and I want to show you those as well. Not this. Give me a second, guys. No, I don't want you. Give me a second, guys. Watch list. Sorry about that. Screen. Sorry, here we go. I want to go to, so this was, this is the 2 monthly. I want to show you something on the 2 monthly. So we had the monthly. I want to show you something on the 2 monthly, right? 2 monthly looks very, very good. So if you look at the 2 monthly, what you see, and this would make total sense to you when I get rid of these drawings, right? So I'm just going to hide all the drawings for now. In fact, forever. We don't need those drawings, but I want to show you something, right? So if you look carefully on the 2 monthly chart, what you see is this, right? So this particular zone here, we were green. This is also green. So we've technically had 2 greens as well. It's a matter of us going above that blue line again. So again, this 21 moving average is a very important number for us, because whenever we're above it, you can see we're pumping up, and whenever we're below, we start being a little bit bearish, right? So that's what we were doing, right? So just being a little bit bearish. Now, I want to show you slightly higher time frame. Give me a second. Slightly higher time frame, because things get really, really interesting when you start looking at this, right? So what you see here is complete different data. What we're looking at here is the 21. We've been bullish the whole time, except this particular area here where we fell below the 21. The first time we fell below. Now, this is where I want to give you a bit of warning, and I want you to take this with a pinch of salt, right? Because of where we are on the 3 monthly chart, there is an opportunity for us to go down even further, right? Percentage is, the chances are very low, but it's still there. So we have to account for that. We can't just be totally bullish and say, right, that's it, boys, we're going to the moon. No, we do expect that maybe October, it might be a bit bloody before we start pumping up, right? It could be bloody based on this particular longer time scenario where we can see that we have fallen below the average, right? You can clearly see this. We've fallen below the average, and that's telling us that we might actually end up being a little bit bearish, maybe for a month, maybe for 2, but maybe for this whole quarter. It doesn't matter. The point is once you start looking at different time frames, sorry, again, I'm doing the same thing. Once you start looking at different time frames, right, especially the higher time frames, you start noticing patterns. You start noticing these lovely, lovely patterns, right? And so far, I mean, if you just look at this, these are 6 monthly one particular thing that I see here, how we were bearish for a long period of time here, right? How we were bearish for a slightly shorter period of time, and how now we are slightly less bearish, right? So when you start looking at this, again, it's telling us that these bear seasons are not lasting as long as they used to. These crypto winters are not lasting as long as they used to. So for me, I'm looking at this as an opportunity. I'm like, okay, you know, in the beginning, this we can excuse, but this is more strong data, and then this is more strong data, and then this is more strong data. And so far, what we see, these bear market seasons, they don't really last that long. Okay, so far so good. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. So the month of October is important only because what I see here is the fact that we are below this area. And that means that we're not going to last that long. We're just going to have to shoot back up. So the bear market technically is coming to an end. That's what I want to signify here, right? The bear market is coming to an end, because you can see here, if you look at the monthly candles, we had, right, just around here, you can see we had 1 2 3 4 5 6 candles before we start breaking the line, and then on this particular candle here we started moving up, right? So that's what we see here. We've had, like, currently let me just check 1 second. So we've got this 1 2 3 4 5 candles, right? We could expect another one before we start breaking up, but remember, the blue line is our level where we want to go to. The blue line is going to be the indicator to say we're in a full force bull market. So those of you who don't understand when to be bullish and when to be bearish, right, we always see opportunities whenever we're below any particular level. So now that we're below this area, this is the perfect zones to actually start picking up, accumulating, doing whatever you want to do. Because now, yes, it might go down 20%, it might go down 30%, right? But these opportunities will not come back. And especially with all the global chaos that's happening right now, I think there's a massive opportunity for everybody to actually kind of, how would I say this, save themselves, if that makes any sense. I'm going to say save themselves, because that's what it is. We are literally going to be saving ourselves. I know I probably don't make any sense here, what I'm trying to say here. But look, the data's here. I'm not showing you, I'm not just telling you something. I'm showing you the data's here. We're below the blue line. We're getting set up. The market is ready. And it's basically literally, and you can see how perfectly on these arrow points, right, how we've come up and we've actually, you know, touched this line. We're in a major trend cycle. So this, if you know, most people have talked about super cycles, right, and these massive mega deca cycles. Well, this could be your deca cycle, right? This could be your super cycle, right? I mean, if you look carefully, you can see that from 2019 to 2022, it's a 3-year thing. The longer term you know, trend, or the Bitcoin's price is not changing. It's definitely up, and it's definitely trending up. I would be worried if we come and test the 2019 again. Think about that, right? Let me just get a sip of my coffee. Right, I'm going to start moving again. So I would be worried if we ended up coming to test those 2019 levels, but I don't think we're going to do this, because based on the trend, and remember, we're talking about bigger, longer trend, we're talking years worth of data here, right? All of this is telling us that we've just come, this is the baseline, we've touched that, we're moving forward now, okay? Is there going to be volatility? Absolutely. Can we drop a little bit further? Yes, but none of that matters. The drops are going to be so insignificant, right? The satoshis are going to be so insignificant. You know, sometimes we say this cycle is different, and then we change things and we say, oh no, it's not different. Well, this cycle is different in the sense that more and more people are awake. This cycle is different because we have an actual financial crisis on our hands right now. And we have these massive situations globally, right? Financial situations globally. So this time is different. People don't know what to do, you know? This time is different. For example, in UK, I've had so many people come up to me and ask me and speak to me, like, you know, how do we set up Bitcoin stuff and this and that? How do we do this? How do we do that? I'm like, why? They're like, because pound's going to the bin. So if the pound's going to the tip, right, what are they supposed to do? They need to find a hedge, and they know that nothing else is fungible enough, because remember, fungibility is very important, right? If it's not fungible, then what's the point? If you can't, if it's not divisible, if it's not fungible, you can't spend it. So they need something that they could spend, right? And most people are now opting for Bitcoin. That's what they're opting for. I mean, you can see the market's dumping a little bit. We just dumped like $200. That's absolutely fine. I'm not bothered. It doesn't matter. Remember, whether we are red or green, it doesn't matter. The whole thing is if we open up on a green candle, right? If we open up a green candle on the first, that should start pumping the market, right? And this is when I'm going to see massive money movements coming in. And of course, we already see money moving in. We already see masses of volume. We see a lot of movement in the market. So ultimately, all that is aligning with us, right? It's like, okay, we can see that Bitcoin that hasn't moved for over a year is now coming into the exchanges. You got to wonder why. Because a year ago they bought them for quite expensive, right? They paid a lot of money for it. They paid $40,000 plus. Why would they bring him into the exchanges right now? You've got to ask yourself that question, right? From my point of view, I can only see one reason why anybody would bring him into the exchanges. It's to trade it. It's to start opening a nice little leverage trade. That's what they're going to bring in, because that's what I would do. And that's what I am planning to do, right? So once I'm confident the market is doing a U-turn and it wants to move back up again, and this all signifies to me, like what you're looking at on the chart, this particular trend line that you're seeing, this is telling me that this is it. This is telling me the trend is here, as long as we do not break this trend line. And this is on a monthly. Remember, guys, this is on a monthly. If we do not break this trend line and have a body below this trend line, then we are super solid. If we did get a body below, we close below, right? A body comes in and we close below. Am I going to be too worried? Not exactly. On a longer time frame, it's okay, because remember, the candle takes approximately 28 to 30 days, depending, or 31 days, depending on the month you're in, to close. So when you do see the first candle pop up, it's only the first day's data. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would observe it for a couple of weeks before I start deciding, oh shit, okay, this is a bad candle. Because that's the thing, you will not be able to tell what this candle's going to open, or what this candle's going to close at. Remember that. So all we're looking for is some positive signals on the chart on a monthly. It doesn't matter where it closes. Even if it closes a little bit below, it doesn't matter. That's not the most important thing. I know some people are not going to tell you this. They're going to say, well, it has to do this, it has to do that. No, there's no rules. Bitcoin doesn't have a rule book that it follows, right? People don't buy and sell based on a rule book. No, they don't do that. People buy based on emotion, based on circumstances. That's what people buy on, right? Apart from institutions who are buying to wreck you and to take more control so they can sell it back to you for a profit. That's a different story. It's a conspiracy. I'm not even gonna go there. So that's what I'm seeing. It doesn't matter if it's 19,700. It doesn't matter even if it opens at 17,000. As long as we get a green candle on the 1st of October, absolutely fine. In fact, if it doesn't even happen on the 1st of October, I'm still not concerned. And I'll tell you why I'm not concerned. Because we are going to be closing the week, right? So closing the weekly candle is more important, because if you look carefully, we've got the Sunday candle as well, right? So we've only got, for this particular candle, we've got 8 hours and 20 minutes to close this candle, right? 8 hours and 20 minutes. That's all we have. And I believe we are going to have a green candle opening, right? That I'm confident, right? Now, weekly one, however, is a different data. So the weekly one is where I'm going to be looking at, because that's more important, because weekly candle doesn't close for another 2 days and 9 hours. 2 days and 9 hours. And that is much more important for us right now, because if the weekly signal is weak, then I'm concerned, right? Daily, I'm not concerned about. As I said, monthly, because we don't have the full 30 days worth of data, it's irrelevant, right? I know some people might say, oh, but this. No, it's not, right? Monthly, you just opened it. You don't have a monthly. You haven't lived the month yet, right? You got to live a month to decide what the month is going to be like. So as you can see on this weekly, it's a green candle. I'm happy. If it opens up on Monday with a green candle, again, that makes me even more happy. That just solidifies exactly what I'm thinking right now. Daily, as I said, I'm not bothered. Monthly, it doesn't make much of a difference where it opens up, right? The only thing we need is that one green candle, right? I know it's kind of crazy, right? Well, why the hell do we need one green candle? Believe me, we just need that one green candle. And the market is going to be on a full swing. It's going to move up. Is it going to move fast? Is it going to move like within a day or two? No, remember, these are big data, you know? I mean, for a 7-day candle, you need 7 days, right? For a bloody monthly candle, you need a whole month to complete. So the time is important. Remember, always watch the timer. And yeah. But I've got a good feeling. I knew, I mean, we did some silly maths last year, I think it was, or about a year and a half ago. We did some really crazy silly maths, right? You know, we literally just took some ghosted candles and we overlaid them on top of each other and done some other bits and bobs, and we done an estimated maths. It's like, okay, this is a probability, and we talked about how, you know, and this was last year or the year before, we talked about how the market could dump and it could do this and on January, and then we talked about how it could do something in March, and if it didn't do what we wanted to, then the other opposite reaction to that would be that we would have a bearish momentum, bearish trend until September, when we will actually start probably reversing the trend and start moving back up. Of course, we're in September right now, and I'm seeing some sort of signs of reversal. Now, this maths could be totally wrong, and it might last until end of October. Absolutely fine. I'll take that on the chin. That's not an issue, right? Because when we're looking at you know, data that doesn't exist, right? There's you know, it's hard, especially, for example, nobody foreseen the pandemic, right? Nobody foreseen that. Nobody foreseen how the money was going to be printed and whatnot and this and that, how we're going to have a financial crisis. Nobody, you know, global recession. I want to call it a global recession, right? A global recession. Nobody actually foreseen that. And people who have, maybe the institution or the people who are creating it or doing it, they're in control. Believe me, people who had an idea about a recession coming 1-2 years ago, they're part of it. They're making money while we all suffer. That's how it works, right? They make money whether you go up, whether you go down, because they are doing it on purpose. They know exactly what to do. All the investors know exactly what to do. This is the time when you'll see massive hedge funds and massive portfolio managers making a whole ton of money for their clients and themselves, right? Because they already have insider news. This is exactly what insider trading is, but they won't admit it. You know, they're influential enough. They won't admit it, and they won't get touched for it either. But that's what's happening. And all I'm seeing is there's a turn has to happen, a U-turn has to happen in crypto. But as I said, based on silly maths, nothing, you know, nothing on whatever's happening currently. Because remember, we could not factor those in as members of the public. We would have no idea what's about to come. We had no idea there's going to be a war. We had no idea there's going to be a massive financial crisis. We had no idea, right? So it's happened. Fine, we take it on the chin, we say, okay, nah, that's fine, you know, it's happened, we're going to do about it. Nothing. But is the maths okay? Yes, the maths is broken by maybe 5%, but we'll give it 5%. Why? Because we done maths on something that didn't exist. We done a calculation on something that didn't exist. So technically we actually predicted it, but I'm not going to say prediction because it's just maths. You can't predict with maths. I mean, you can probably. But anyway, I'm still bullish. And remember, my bullishness literally means, you know, it's not just about, oh, we're going to go to the moon. No, bullishness means that I'm getting cheaper BTC. The more cheaper BTC I get, the better it is. But as I said, right now, I've been mentioning for a few weeks now that, look, guys, I think this is it, right? It dipped probably a little bit, but this is it. What bottom's in already, we're going to shoot now. And, I mean, if we break that trend line we showed, like if we fall below, then we might see a little bit of volatility, but only for, I would say, month and a half. Other than that, guys, it's raining here. Weather's really bad, and that's it. I'm not going to say anything else. Just let's wait for it, and I'll drop something soon. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave something in the comment if you find this video helpful. Let me know, because the thing is, I don't really get much communication apart from Discord and WhatsApp and direct call. You know, that's not the purpose, right? So on YouTube, let's make this channel grow. Even though I don't give a damn about YouTube or growing or anything like that, but let's make some noise so at least we can help other people. I think that's more important, because I started this to help 10-15 people, and the channel's grown, and we're 2,500 subscribers now. We get tons of views, but I don't know which videos are getting all the views, but there are some videos out there getting massive amounts of views. And I think my message for crypto and all these direct kind of straight up messages, they're not getting through to people. So let's help them find these videos. Like, share and subscribe. Adios, my amigos.